Our opening speech, I would like to acknowledge our mama, Sister Lade, and other members of the Women Fellowship for giving me this opportunity to be your MC for today. We'll finish work. Let's wait and see. So we'll take our opening speech from, opening hymn from TSP 5. Please, let me.
Sisters, let us pray. We thank our Heavenly Father, Lord God Almighty, for making it possible for us, your daughters, to gather here this afternoon. We thank you for the success of the morning service, utterance given to the preacher, and I hope the hearing ears to win the hearers. Help us to make use of this word so that we benefit from it. We are again here to do our sisters' month meeting. We pray you to guide and protect all what you are going to do, that all will end well, to the praise and glory of your holy name, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Hail Jehovah and Jesus Christ. MC.
Sisters! You know action well. Sisters! No, come up with them. Sisters! Don't again. Sisters! Sisters motto! So before I call on speaker for the welcome address, I want to briefly thank all of you. Now wait, now sit down. I want to thank God Almighty before thanking you all. Say, we'll make me sit down to listen. Because in Nigeria, where they sit today, not easy. So people get PhD to manage, so people know that. People that just take them as masters. So we thank God that we decided to wait because no man is an island. Everybody, they say that not one tree, not they make forest. And all of us, as we gather, we'll talk our mind. So straight up, moving on, I want to call on Sister Joy Chukuma to give us the welcome address. Sister Joy Chukuma. Thank you.
Sisters, Make una dey talk. Is it too? I mean, the hunger don't reach. Now we share food first before we start. Sisters, sisters motto. In the first place, I give my profound gratitude to Jehovah the Almighty God through His beloved Son Jesus Christ for making it possible for all of us to be alive, healthy, smiling and happy. I know from the theme that things are very difficult, we all know, but yet we are alive. Look at all of us. You won't even know from our faces that anything is happening. I'm sure if somebody is from America and he hears the theme, he will say, with all these faces, all these shining faces, yes, that's the grace of God. So I want to really thank God for that, His grace upon us. It's my immense pleasure, my beloved sisters, to welcome every one of us today, all of us, to this mass meeting. This is our third mass meeting this year. This is third quarter. By God's grace, we've never missed any mass meeting in this branch. We've always kept to it. We've always held our mass meetings to the glory of God. I also want to thank our guest speaker, Brother Frank Lekki-Ajah, for being present. He has given us, in fact, if you check your phones, you will see he has already made available the material for this very presentation. He was the one that arranged, together with the Youth Fellowship Committee, to get this here. Everything we are seeing here. This is the first time we are having our mass meeting and we are having a projector. You know, we can't be like funky people, easy. So I really thank God Almighty before I thank Brother Frank Lekki-Ajah. As he progresses, we can check our WhatsApp page, sisters page, and also the branch page. You will see his write-up, what he has written, his presentation, so that we can follow him up too. The theme, as we all know, we've been announcing it, is present economic difficulties in Nigeria. How do we cope? Present economic difficulties in Nigeria, how do we cope? It's an open secret that things are very tough right now in Nigeria. We don't want to go into that, I don't want to preempt the speaker, but we all know that things are tough. So what we are here to talk about is very important. How do we cope? No knowledge, my dearly beloved sisters, is lost. Today, by God's grace and power, I know you are going to learn something. I am going to learn something if we listen attentively. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 18, verse 15, that the prudent heart seeks after knowledge. A wise man is always, he wants to hear knowledge, you want to hear. You man ain't talking, that no knowledge is lost. More especially what we are talking about is very relevant. Even if we are women, even to men, everybody, this topic is very important. If we listen, definitely we benefit something. It's only a foolish man, as the preacher said in Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7, that closes his ear to knowledge. A wise man will always want to learn and hear, so that you will use it to apply, you will use it in your life. It no matter how foolish it is, even if you listen to a foolish man's rambling, if you listen carefully, you might pick something from it. So I want all of us, I want to implore all sisters, my bad, and brothers who are here too. I want to thank you very much for making yourself available to listen, to support it, not just to be here with us during our mass meeting, but to also listen to this important topic on the present economic difficulties, so know how we can cope to help ourselves too. Not by our power, but by the grace of God. So I want to implore all of us to sit down quietly and pay attention. And also contribute. It's not going to be a one-man presentation where you talk and talk and talk and talk. We must be ready to contribute. Let's make it interactive so that we all will learn. We learn from the speakers. The speakers will also learn from us. You learn from me, I learn from you. The talk says, you fall for me, I fall for you. The play becomes interesting. Once more, I welcome you all to this mass meeting. Thank you very much for listening.
In short form, all the plenty grammar wey she dey speak say be say they wan teach us how we go take go market. You know when you go market, most times you go like money don loss. You no get anybody wey go tell me say never feel like say when you go market, buy finish, my money don loss. But your brother your come tell us how our money no go dey loss. How we are not going to feel like we lost our money because of a truth. You get as it be. So I already know the theme. present economic difficulties in Nigeria and how do we cope. So before I call on Brother Olaja, we need to give a brief history of Brother and why he was chosen to come and teach us and take us on this topic. So sorry. So Brother Olaja has over 25 years career experience in oil and gas, consultancy, and financial service sector. Financial and money matter. He started his career at KPMG, picked mark with Annie Ogunde and Co., where he learned the rudiments of accounting profession before moving on to work for multinational companies of Schlumberger, Oil Field Services, General Electric, and Baker Hughes in Nigeria, Sub-Saharan Africa, and the Caribbean region, where he held various management positions. He's a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, and associate member of both the Chartered Institute of Taxation and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, a proud alumnus of Auchi Polytechnic. Brother Frank enjoys volunteering activities and currently runs an unregistered NGO providing support to widows and indigent youth. He's heavily involved in training, coaching, and mentoring young professionals to build a pool of new leaders for Nigeria. He is currently the Group Chief Financial Officer of Nest Oil Limited, an indigenous engineering procurement, construction, and commissioning company in the oil and gas sector, and a visiting lecturer to the Lagos Business School. All this plenty grammar what is so. Everything that money, financial, anything that has to do with business. Like what we use is a pro, is a guru. So we go the very clap in the Umakai go help you well. So I inviting Brother Frank Ogolaja. Before the carry chair, the Umakai needs to be the head. Please continue clapping as you're walking in. Continue clapping. Sister Goodness is not clapping. Continue clapping, please. Sister Goodness is not clapping. Clap. Sister Goodness is not clapping. Continue clapping. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, able MC. And thank you everyone for staying back. In the first place, I want to give my profound thanks to Jehovah the Almighty God and His beloved Son, Jesus Christ. The admin committee in absentia, have any of them did? The admin committee in absentia and the GKS Women Fellowship, Lekki-Ajah branch, for organizing this forum and for giving me the opportunity once again to come and address you. I don't take it for granted. I am very, very grateful for the invitation, and I hope that by God's grace, we can share some ideas as to, what's going on in our country today, and again, some suggestions as to how we can navigate through this difficult time. Organizer, how many minutes do I have so that I can... How many? 20 minutes. That's a tough one. But it's okay. We'll try. Next slide. So, that's the outline. By the way, we have put this presentation on the portal. I just wanted to confirm that you have seen it. Okay, so... Brad Aaron, you just be a bit careful.
Yes, sir.
So, I'll run through quickly so we have time for questions. This is the outline. What has changed? Because right now, Nigeria overnight became very hard. So what changed? What's the impact on the society? And how do we cope? And then as usual, I always like to leave a quote so that we can reflect and have, a dialogue as to how that particular quote will affect the topic that has been, discussed for the day. And finally, we'll take some questions. So what changed? I'm going to run through this slide very quickly. On May the 29th, Ahmed Tinubu became the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On inauguration day, he said, petrol subsidy is gone. So that was the beginning. And in June, the subsidy was removed. Petrol price from 200 naira averagely went up to 600. 2 weeks after, the naira was devalued. So I'm building up the history so we understand how we got here. The naira was devalued, it was a good move, but because the CBN did not have enough reserves to back up that policy, the naira went on a fall. So the naira crashed from around maybe 700. I think as of Friday, it was trading for around 950 in the black market. And as a result of all of those that we talked about, inflation became the order of the day. And that has taken us to the increase in the cost of living. Everything done here. So that's the summary. This is what changed. Okay? Overnight, the next slide. And how has it impacted, us in the society? You can see that nobody is left out. For those who are business owners, markets don't fall. They don't reduce. I have a few of them here. Then they shake head. Patronage, it don't slow. You have inventory you cannot sell because there is no money. For the workers, salary has not been increased. The salary can't take you home, it just take you to work now. That's the challenge. And for students, especially primary and secondary. Primary and secondary in this Lagos is more than training somebody in university. So fees have gone up. Their pocket money has overnight reduced. So it's a challenge. And for the unemployed, the opportunities have reduced. The uncle, the auntie, the cousin, the brother that usually will give you small change, the brother is struggling. So that change has also disappeared. And for children, the holiday was very boring. I mean, most of you can attest to that. You never see money buy fuel for motor now to go inside Mr. Biggs or go Mega Chicken or whatever. So it was a very difficult holiday for some of our children. And of course for the church, some of us struggle to come to service. And thankfully a group of members are supporting. God will bless you and please continue in that good work. A few of us are supporting members who cannot, come to service by giving them transport money. So you can imagine if we were still worshiping at Pike, with this increase in transportation, although God would have provided, but it would have also been a challenge. But thank God we moved over here. Our running expenses has also gone up. Before May 29, petrol for the generator, 5,000, 2 weeks. Today is 12,000. For 2 weeks. That's why sometimes I tell admin committee a quick finish now, so that I will stop the generator. So you can see that this is not something that is in the cloud. All of us are impacted, one way or the other. Okay? And of course, our offertory, tithes, and other launching, because the cost of living is high, is impacting on how we bring and support the kingdom work. So next slide. And this is the real slide that addresses the core of our discussion today. So if you recall, when we had our leadership series, we talked about one of the quality of a good organization, change management. And I want to refer back to change management again. I'll spend some time here so that we understand what change management really is. So change management is just how you deal with something that is no longer what it used to be. And I like giving examples. So when we're moving here from Pike, if you observe, you will see that the children's section, almost everything that we have there is like what they were used to in Pike. Even the water dispenser, it was deliberate because we wanted to create an environment where they come here and they don't feel like this is a different place. This is a new place. Even the mats that they sleep on, it's similar to the same, mat that they were used to there. And you see the fan. This same fan is the type of fan that the children were used to. So it was deliberate. And why did we do that? We wanted to make that transition seamless. So that is what change management is all about. Is to help you manage a change. Okay? And for this matter, the most important thing here is to have a family meeting. Not be church own or house own, family meeting. At home, you have to discuss. Father, mother, children. You have to discuss and tell them that this is the reality of Nigeria today. Let them understand why some certain things have changed. Because if they understand, then they will work together with you to make it happen. But if you keep shutting them down, oh, you cannot take tea again. Oh, you cannot take Coke. They will struggle. They won't understand the reason why. But if you tell them that this is the reason why, look at what has changed. The children, the father, the mother, everybody will work together to make sure that we navigate this phase, right, together. The other thing that is important is self-examination. This is a traditional GKS topic. But for the purpose of what we are doing now, for this session, we have to do a self-examination. There has to be change of behavior to help us navigate through this change. If before, when you eat finish, you go take one bottle, wash them down. That now your fashion is fine. But just now, so, matter hard. You have to review that behavior. Because that one bottle of beer fit buy you 1 liter to take go home. And the other thing is that when you go through self-examination, you understand what your passion is. We're going to come back to this passion matter, as we discuss. And then most importantly, we're talking about cutting of costs. You have to focus on what you really need. To get the same shoe or to get different color of shoe for different color of dress is a nice to have. Okay? If you get 20 shoes or 30 shoes, you don't go wear all of them at the same time. The one where Nigeria did so, change of behavior, you have to focus on what you need. For those of us men, it's not too difficult. If you get black shoe, get brown shoe, don't waka. But it's not that easy for the sisters. But again, focus on what you need, not what you want. Okay? What you want will drain you. What you need will sustain you. Okay? It's very important. This is a time to seek substitutes. Okay? Seeking substitutes, I would say, even for the schools. Those of us that live on Lekki, Victoria Island, the kind of school fees that we pay sometimes is annoying. By the end of the day, all of these children, whether Montessori or government school, all of them will write WAEC and NECO. That is what schools in Nigeria, in the US, in Canada, or wherever, it is WAEC and NECO that they recognize. All this, whatever they forced us to pay for them. Write one IGCSE, write one. The schools overseas don't recognize those certificates. They are nice to have. So this is a time to seek substitute for your school, even for the things that we buy. If Milo becomes too expensive, there is another one that you can buy that is not Milo, but is still cocoa drink. And you will even enjoy it better than the Milo. Okay? Carpooling. I have seen a lot of that happen. happen right now. And I want to commend all members who on their way coming, you bring fellow members, even on your way, out of service. I want to commend each and every one of us that do that. It's very good, not because of hard times, but it also helps to bond, right? It builds that spirit of camaraderie, whatever they call it. Camaraderie, Abi? Correct. So, batch processing. And that looks like a big grammar. But you see, I'll break it down. In the past, in the morning, you take your car, you go and drop your child. You come back. Then you go to the supermarket. You come back. Then you go again. You have an appointment. You go. And then you come back. Around 2, 3, you go for school run. Then I want petrol be 180 naira. Now, you plan your movements. As you are taking the child for school run, if you have to keep an appointment, you keep going. You go forward. Keep that appointment. If you have to go to the market, you go to the market. By the time you finish, it's almost 2 o'clock. You come and run. This will not be joking matter. You come and do school run. So it's a full cycle. Right? Because when you go, you come. You go, you come. You wouldn't see it, but you are, quietly expending your resources that you could have deployed, right, to somewhere else. Some of us, like I said earlier on, we eat. When we eat finish, in those days, somebody tell me, say, look, when I chop finish, and from there I dey sleep. If you sleep from there, the food's too much. Now feeding. So this is the time, just eat what will be enough for you. Because if the overfeeding come day, you also buy medicine. The money that is not available, we'll use it to buy Andrew liver salt or something. So just take the portion that is enough for you. Okay? And of course, another way we could manage through this phase is to delay an expenditure. That is not saying that you will not incur that expenditure, but you can delay it for 1 month, for 2 months, 3 months. Because in today's world, if you want to do everything at the same time, resources are scarce. They are not enough. If you don't prioritize properly, and you find yourself in a situation whereby you have taken on an expenditure that doesn't make sense, and your child is at home, you have not paid the school fees. How? Or you have another emergency, okay? That's why it is advisable, okay, that we delay expenses as much as possible. You will still incur it, but delay so that you can do some other things that has, higher priority. So in terms of other ideas, right, this is the time that we can have a side hustle. Remember I talked about what your passion is. If you want to do a side hustle and you are not passionate about it, that side hustle, it no go last. Even if you want to do business, if you are not passionate, it's going to be a struggle. So your side hustle, you have to look for something that you can easily, manage, that will not, disturb what you are currently doing. And of course, in a period of recession, that is when, for those who are smart, you seize the opportunity to develop yourself. Because by God's grace, this situation will not continue forever. But also in a period of recession, you can have a cost that maybe you would have paid, let's say 10,000. Because things are hard, you could take that cost for 5,000 or even 3,000, or you could take that cost and spread the payment. So this is the time to develop yourself, so that when things turn around, you have additional certification that would position you for a bigger opportunity. And of course, farming is also important. I know farming in Lagos is a bit of a challenge because everywhere they don't build house food. But for those who have the opportunity, even if it is ugu, if it is bitter leaf or it's saint leaf or some, okay, you can, go into crop farming or even animal husbandry, they call it. You can, rear, your chicks or whatever. Even if you don't sell it, but at least you will have something to make the food for the home. And that will be more nutritional than the ones that we go and buy. And of course, something that is very important that our parents were doing, that most of us saw them do, is esusu. Today they call it contribution. Esusu or trade contribution is very, very good. Forget about how much you put, whether it's 5,000, 10,000 or 1,000. The day you will appreciate having a savings or having a susu is when you come out and you ask somebody to borrow you 5,000. Even a brother friend that you think, oh, if I just ask, that is when you will appreciate, right, the value that having a thrift contribution or even petty savings can bring to you. Imagine if you save every Sunday or every week, if you save 1,000 naira every week, by the end of the year it's 52,000 naira. It's 52 weeks in a year. And when you want to prepare for feast, if you started in January, you will see that by November, you already have almost maybe 48 or you have 45,000. Okay, so you are not going to struggle because you've been doing it. So don't think of the money. I mean, what is important is for you to cultivate, that habit of saving small. And when you plan your esusu well, it could coincide to either pay your house rent or pay your school fees or help you even pay for your fees transport. Okay, so these are little things that we can do to help us to manage, this challenging period. And of course, like I said earlier on, in times of this recession, that is when also you see opportunities. This is also an opportunity where some of us can become an entrepreneur. You don't have to start big. You can start, small, and then you grow. Now, most importantly, don't be shy to seek help. And this is very important. Don't be shy, because you don't know who you will have that conversation with. The person might not have the money to give you, but the person might have a word of advice that will help you achieve that objective that you want to achieve. And by the grace of God, the Youth Fellowship, they have a program, okay, an empowerment program. And I think, I stand to be corrected, they have supported 2 to date. Okay, so the youths are not just saying it for the fun of it. They have an empowerment program. If you have a good business idea, you go to them. If that your business can fund itself, if it can pay, that small loan that you are asking for, they are going to look at it, and if it's fine, they will help you. So that's very important. Seek help. Help not necessarily in the form of give me the money, but when you have that conversation, solutions definitely will be on the way. I think I have about 5 minutes left, so let me quickly rush through. I think the last part of this presentation is really not to sound like the preacher, but thankfully, the sermon, the sermon that, was taken today talked about the Bible. I didn't know that would be, the main sermon for today. But the hard times that we see today, is a fulfillment of Bible prophecies. Let's not kid about it. And this is not going to change. We have been hearing hard times since I was small. Hard times. It will continue. But as children of God, if we renew our faith, if we serve God diligently in any way or shape, either a usher, a chorister, or even coming for service, attending meetings like this, God will always, have mercy on us, and God will open the way. There are some examples that I will share, life experiences, but because of time, I'm going to keep that so that when questions come up, depending on how the questions go, I'll be able to share, one or two life experiences. Slide now. So like I said earlier on, I want us to take a few seconds to read the quotes that I have there. And let's think in today's Nigeria. This is a quote from Hippocrates. Make a habit of two things: to help, or at least do no harm. If you know fit help me, no complicate my matter. I think at this junction I would like to come to the end of this presentation. Thank you very much. Yes. Can I take my seat or we take questions first? Okay. All right. So yes. So let's have a conversation. Not necessarily, but we can have a conversation. Okay. So how many minutes so we can moderate this? 15 minutes. Okay. So at 12, we'll bring this session to a close. Brothers, feel free. It's for all of us. Take the David. Take it back to what changed. What changed? Yes. So while you are trying to put your thoughts together, so the reason I said that things will not continue like this, if you look at what changed us into the situation, these things can also flip again. And situations will improve by God's grace. Okay, so if you understand the why, right, and then the how becomes, easier to deal with. Was I too fast? Okay, you are digesting it. All right, very good.
My question is on how do we adapt? You said something about change management, having a family meeting. So what I want to ask is this: if your children are very little, let's say 1 year, 2 years, they can't really understand if you start saying, so how do you really make them understand? And definitely you want to cut down on what they are taking. Is there any suggestion to what you can do about that? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can I have a help? Is it a question? Okay. Yes. Before she forgets.
Okay, mine is coming as a business person. Now the issue is, like you say, sales has really, really dropped. It's not like before. But the challenge is now is even our landlord, they are not making things easy for us. They are fixing our road, and now the rent, there's increment in rent, and we are not even making sales to even be able to meet up our needs. So how do we cope in this kind of situation?
Not easy. Another question, or you have a question? Okay. So we take this one, and then I'll attempt to answer. So I don't go forget all the questions.
So you talked about savings.
Yes.
So in the current Nigerian economy, how the dollar is actually getting higher. And our savings is actually becoming useless. Because if I save money in January for maybe a goal in December, I may not be able to afford it in December because of dollar stuff. So what do you suggest we actually do to um, balance this stuff? Yeah.
Okay, very good. Let me start from the last. So that's a very important question, right? Today, Nigeria is dollarized. So if you have enough savings, right, that could buy you $1. So what I would advise is you buy, when you save, you buy the dollar and keep it. But again, it's risky. It's risky. Let's be frank. It's risky because the reason I said let's go back to what changed, because it's not that I had to run through this presentation because of time. We could spend 1 hour here outside this place, we could spend 1 hour here on this slide. So if CBN tomorrow gets enough reserve and you have bought dollars at 1,000 naira and it becomes 800 tomorrow, you have lost money. Okay? But that does not mean you should not save. Okay? So saving, that habit is good. Number two, if you are able to dollarize it, you dollarize it. But you have to stay close to your investment. You have to be checking. So that if the dollar is moving like this or like that, you can sell and then keep it in the currency. You can keep it in naira. So it's not just to buy and go to bed. Okay? Now, when you're talking about investment, nobody is going to give you an investment idea and say, this is your final position. Do this or do that. It varies, okay, depending on how things change, how the economy, progresses. Okay? But please be saving that small money. Because at least the transport to Warri for Feast of Tabernacles will still be in naira. In December, the transport will still be in naira. Now to Sister Okwe. Again, sometimes we are our biggest problem in Nigeria, not the government. Because then they repair roads, landlord has gone to increase rent. The same landlord sees that the people are struggling, but that's greed. Okay, so I don't think there is a way we can advise to manage your landlord, but again, engage with your landlord. And even those of you who are tenants, right, you can, engage with your landlord and try to let him see reason. Okay, because there are some properties that you can't even collect rent. If people are there, they will tell you, take me to court, we'll stay 6 months. Yes, by law, you can't eject. The lawyer said there. Is it eject or evict? Which one will be the correct one? Evict, eject, na cassette, abi. You cannot evict. So engage with your landlord. Okay, let him see reason that look, we are struggling. Okay, he may not stop the increase, but maybe he can reduce, okay, the percentage of increase that he had in his mind. Okay, and most importantly, take this to God in prayer. It's not impossible that the landlord may just look at you and say, look, sister, don't worry. Just stay. Make we see how things will be. Okay? And then going back to the first question. It's a tough one for a child that is 1 year or a child that is 2 years. I'm struggling to see how I can comment on that. But again, interestingly, the kids that God has given to us today, they are smarter than us. They are smarter than us. And these kids, they understand. Okay? They understand science and they understand certain behaviors more than us, their parents. So, if we have that family meeting, let us focus on those children that at least they can reason. And the family meeting is not such that you are coming to read the riot act. No, you don't try it again. No, 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 it's a dialogue. Okay? Our children today, and I'm saying this not because I'm standing here as your paper presenter, even as a parent, our children today, you need to reason with them. You reason with them. Don't legislate and tell them you must do this. If you tell them you must do it, that is what they don't do. But reason with them. Okay? For me, thank God my kids are, they are much older now. While they were growing up, I knew what I wanted them to do, but I will make them lead themselves to that point. We will have that engagement. I will keep directing the conversation. I'll be directing it until it gets to what I want them to do. And because they were part of that decision, it's theirs. Now that they have grown older, they would remind me that, remember that time you said we should do this thing? So it was this thing that you wanted. So you have to reason with your children today. I'm giving you this advice for free. And you will see they will come out with better solutions for you. These kids are smart. Okay? And with technology, the way they reason right now, if you think your child does not know anything, then sit back and figure out why a 6-month-old child will have computer game, 6 months old or even 3 months, and know what to do with it. 6 months, not 1 year. Okay, so that engagement, have that family meeting, have a dialogue, let them understand that, look, this is, if we go to the fuel station, show them, let them see that meter. Let them meter and do the maths. So that by the time you even tell them, let us go, and they will say, no, daddy, let's wait. But if you don't engage them, they are not aware, it's going to be a difficult conversation. Any other question before we... Okay. It has been answered. Okay. Yes, go on. Stand where camera will see you.
So you talked about side hustle. That
Yes.
As much as possible, we should look for something we're passionate about, because most times we might do it and it will end up failing because we're not passionate about it. But, well, in my opinion, and I would like to ask, because a lot of times we get things like passion don't pay bills. So sometimes you might like to do this thing, but money no dey come from that side. So some of us will find ourselves in jobs or doing things we don't even like just because bills has to be paid. So I needed to ask that part you said we should look for a side hustle that we're passionate about, if not it will fail.
Okay, thank you very much. So that was under other ideas, right? So you already have something that you are doing. So we talked about a side hustle, right? So there is something, right? Maybe it's not paying the bill, but it's contributing to the bill. So if this is your real hustle, right? Now it's tricky, because sometimes there is a thin line. People take advantage of you, right? If they see that it's something that you are passionate about. So you have to draw the line. Okay? I had this young man in Port Harcourt. So his in-law, took him to a sewing school. Like, look, instead of sitting at home, he's a graduate of not computer engineering, but computer technology. So he said, come, let's be doing this business together. So the guy had his freedom. And we were so excited. And then we were like, okay, let's get you your machine and what. And then the guy told me, bros, this thing I don't like am. I don't get passion for this work. So that day I struggled because I was dumb. He said, bros, all this thing not with my passion. I still want to do this my computer thing. So I told him that, but who is going to give you money to go to overseas to do computer? Me? Do this your tailor work first. Raise the money so that you can go and do this IT matter. So that's a practical example. We were all here trying to get this guy running. But today, by the grace of God, he's doing the computer work. It's in Abuja, but he still has his machine. So when he told me that he's taking the machine from Port Harcourt to Abuja, in my mind, you for leave the machine now. You for leave him. So he's still doing it. Okay? But that was a guy who spoke out to say, this thing I don't like him. I don't like him. So we were able to find a way, around it. Thankfully, another friend had an opportunity and they said, okay, come. And then he's there. So that now is a side hustle. Even though we struggled to put it by his side, but it's a side hustle. I don't know if that, addressed, your question. I want us to go to the other section of this quarterly mass meeting. I'm still around. If we have time, if there are new questions, I can come and then we will then have that conversation. I don't know if that is carried. I never go now. Okay, thank you very much.
Kunaka, this clap. Sister Goodness must not clap again. Clap, and do not ask questions. So clap very well. Clap. Sister Goodness not clap. So on a lighter note, I hope we learned something, we enjoyed ourselves, and we get what we will carry go as Sister Chizian of the grills of the good life. Don't learn something for a business. Don't ask for buy a landlord. Landlords for Nigeria, they praise sometimes. Sorry to use that word inside the but some of them they have screw inside their head, so you have to learn how to negotiate. Okay, so moving on, we want to do a little presentation to our speaker. You can all agree with me that he tried. He take us round as little as the time, but he still take us round. So we go agree say the brother he can't teach us and he teach us well. So Sister Joy Chukuma, please help us with the little presentation. Brother Lekki-Ajah, I have a new name for you, the financial guru. Please come forward for our small token. Kunaka now, not a Kunaka this day.
If it is easier, then you come outside for If you come and talk, you clap for the person. I tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy to sit down and put together what Brother Lekki-Ajah has done. Even if I'm coming to come and talk, it's not easy for me to sit down with them. Not with me right now for them. Sit down with computer, type out everything and present everything. So when somebody has done something good and outstanding, I think we should applaud that person. So with a standing ovation, let us applaud him. He has done well for us. We are very grateful, sir. We really appreciate on behalf of the all sisters and the Women Fellowship of Lekki-Ajah branch. We say thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. We have a little token to present. And at this point, Sister Vera, please, I would like to present that to you.
All right.
Come, you dey worry me. No, bear, come hold am. Hold am, make I tell you message. I know that shit. Thank you very much.
Okay, so moving on.